All right. Hi, everyone. I am Andrew, aka Artistic Philosophy Bro, for the purposes of this video. And as you can see, I'm talking about Jordan Peterson again, who I often do. I'm going to continue my series, of course, in his book, his newest book called Beyond Order. He needed 12 more rules because I suppose the 12 rules in his 12 Rules for Life book were not enough. And I criticize him often, as you know, and I've not liked most of his rules that I've gone through so far. This is Beyond Order Rule 8. I actually did what I often don't do and kind of steel-manned his own rule and put it much more concisely than he does in his own book, even though he talks all the time about the importance of language. And my simplification is art is the foundation of culture. I thought that sounded better than what the rule actually is verbatim in the book, which is try to make one room in your home as beautiful as possible. And contrary to unlike what I usually do, I'm actually going to compliment this rule because I often don't like his rules, but actually like this one. I'm not sure if it's true, but I think it's interesting and sort of an admirable thing to believe, really, even if it's not true. Art is the foundation of culture. Uh, I like that because art is pretty important for culture. And if we're talking about authoritarian governments like Mao, for example, they took out the artists first because they knew they could change the culture and they could challenge the authoritarian government, and that seems to be what happens. So, and art is the centerpiece of what defines culture in some ways for sure, because you have all these depictions of like the examples that Jordan Peterson uses, of course, are religious ones, all these beautiful churches that have been built throughout history and everything like that, and all the religious artwork. And art throughout the ages has had an influence on culture, and it does today too, right? Like a lot of the culture war shit that people get into politically centers around people getting mad about some art being woke, or some if you're a lefty, some art being fascist or some shit like that, or sexist or something like that. So I think, yeah, that makes like I said, I like this rule that art is the foundation of culture. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure it's actually the foundation, but it's an essential part of culture, right? And each culture has their own individual art to distinguish their culture, generally speaking, right? Every culture in every not probably not every culture in every place throughout human history, but most cultures at the very least, I would say it's probably not, like I said, it's not the only one, but it's probably one of the perhaps many main aspects that define define a particular culture. The artwork, the way people behave socially with each other, the social customs, of course, are important too. But the how the art influences how people behave, and like I said, how much art often has to do with political tribalism, especially in our super way too online culture, like on Twitter and shit like that. So yeah. Anyway, I basically just wanted to say that I like this rule and explain why, and I think it's actually an unusually admirable and profound thought of Jordan Peterson. So good for him. I like this rule for a change. All right. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching this. Check out my other videos on Jordan Peterson's Beyond Order book. Check out my other ones on future rules 9 through 12, of course. And I think probably the next one I'll put out will be a podcast. I think it'll either be a podcast with my friend Dusty about the Canadian psychologist Gabor Mate's book called In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts, which is basically about drug addiction and his experience at safe injection sites in in Vancouver, an experience with drug addicts, and it's all about how the problem with drug addiction is trauma and the solution is compassion and treatment. So yeah, check that out. And like I said, I'm not sure if it's going to be it's either going to be that one or it's going to be a clip that I'm going to put out soon from my podcast a while ago with Jared Bauer from the Wisecrack channel, which talks about in and where they talk about philosophy and popular culture. He's not at the channel anymore, but I talked about it with him about all sorts of philosophical topics like the intellectual dark web and the culture war and critical race theory and wokeness and public intellectuals like James Lindsay and Jordan Peterson, who I often criticize. So check out that channel. It's about his take on critical race theory. Check that out and check out the podcast I'm doing with Dusty on In the Realm of Hungry Ghost. And thanks again for watching. I'm the Artistic Philosophy Bro. Check out the chat, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. A lot of people watch the videos and don't subscribe, so please do so. Click that bell to be notified when I come out with new videos. Like I said, smash the like button, make sweet love to it, elbow drop it, do anything as long as you press it. Check out the link for my Patreon page. Link is in the description of the video as always. And of course, like I always say, most importantly, always remember this: the funk cures all, and groove is in the heart. And Jordan Peterson often has some super dumb takes, but like people say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So he occasionally makes really good and interesting points, and this is one of them. Art is the foundation of culture. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this rule? Art is the foundation of culture, or make one room in your home as beautiful as possible. I think that's not necessarily keeping one of your room in your home as beautiful as possible. That doesn't have to be a room. I mean, a rule rather. You could keep it clean, but art being important for culture is really interesting and important, and I think mostly true, or at least admirable. All right. Thanks again, everyone, and adios until next time.